Hello to everybody in the world of Ford Focus Mark 1s, the third and final Mark 1 Preservation Club meeting at the Classic Motor Hub in the beautiful Cotswolds. And we have quite a few cars that have turned up today, 12 in total, not as many as last time, but we're in a lovely setting here in the middle of the Cotswolds, and I can't wait to share all the models that have joined us today, and a few other fantastic classics in this lovely shed here. So the Classic Motor Hub is a lovely little place to come, and it has a fantastic car themed cafe in there, absolutely wonderful food and drink, I can tell you, well worth the trip. And well, once again, 50 Shades has made it very nicely, and I've just had a call from my body man with some nice bumpers that have been resprayed, so these are coming off and being swapped. A lot of things to be done with this. There's been a few jobs on this, actually small jobs, so enough said. Nick CL, which you are going to see once or twice in the coming couple of weeks and months. Really important jobs done on this car, and this car is getting better with every journey, but there is a list to go over, but it's getting there, it really is, and it's starting to look like the car it potentially can be. Wonderful example of a CL. Next to Adam's lovely TDDI gear on a 54 plate, 2004. In 2004, people were still buying the old TDDI lump instead of the TDCI. Why they just didn't delete that option when the TDCI came out, I do not know. Maybe it was to do with the fact they were still using those engines in Ford Transit Connects and a few other cars, just to make the most of the tooling for the engine. Effectively, most of the engine is exactly the same. It's the way the fuel is delivered that's different. But the tonic blue really does stand out, and he bought the car for absolutely next to nothing. It has drums at the back. It does have the reflex pack, so you get side airbags and traction control and ABS added on. The reflex pack was an option on every single Focus apart from top of the range gears that had all of that anyway. But this lovely dealer sticker by WH Jones, a very much a Welsh Ford dealership down that way with a lovely towing hook. Honestly, it's been a fantastically reliable car for him so far, and an absolute credit. Right beside a lovely car that is very familiar to people who've watched another YouTube channel. Yes, Johnny Cash, WR03PYW. This is owned by Octavian, and my goodness me, this is one tidy example in Metropolis blue, and this is probably the most well polished Metropolis blue I have seen on any Mark 1. It is a gear 1.6, and if I just show you under here, wow, that's really tidy. Even the fuel filler pipes are looking good. Most of the underbody is in superb condition. It really is. Inside we have, actually, this is one thing this car's had. So originally this car had drums, it's now got disc brakes at the back. He does have ABS but doesn't have traction control. So because this car was equipped with drum brakes and ABS from standard, that makes it a little bit easier to do a disc brake conversion, and the brakes are a little bit better now as a result. So fair play, and that is ideal. Everything is really dry. He's had a replacement alternator at some point, but he's very, very tidy in here, and you know, it's very original. Most of the HT leads are the originals, actually looking at them. Wonderful. There are some pictures of this car's little journey and how it was presented before and after all the work was done on that fantastic YouTube channel. And it was wonderful to see a £250 Focus turn round, and it sold for a decent price. But I'll tell you what, a decent price, you're getting a lot of nice car, and this polishes up so nicely. It's untrue. So thank you for bringing this, Octavian. Great motor. Next to Jason's 1.6 Edge, the winner of last meet, because this is done so ridiculously low mileage in Vitro. It is a lovely colour, Vitro. It's very, it's more of a greeny version of Tonic Blue. If you look at Tonic Blue, very pale blue, and this has got a green tint to it. Really nice colour, superb car, wonderful to see. Oh, goodness me, we have a lovely example here, a 1.6 LX on a 51 plate. I can tell it's a slightly earlier car because we've got a fuel regulator valve here. It's just to prevent fuel from returning to the tank. That's all it's there for. They actually deleted that later on because it isn't entirely necessary. It just aids starting when the car's been left for some time. But it is a pretty clean example. We have noticed that while the breather hoses has got a bit of a crack in it, so the owner's going to get that sorted. Just things that we kind of notice. It's one of those shows where people start noticing things about your car. But this is, I'll tell you something, it's a daily driver. It's done a ridiculous amount of miles, I think 180 or something around that number, and it still continues to drive really nicely despite the crack in the breather hose for some reason. We have the sort of match sort of trim that you would get on an earlier Zetec. They only switched the Harlequin trim around sort of late 2001, 2002. This just predates it a little bit. It is quite an early facelift one, this. I think it's an October registration, if I'm not mistaken. I might have got that wrong, but you might well check that. But it's pretty original inside, aftermarket head unit, but it's very, very tidy. And the drums have been painted blue. I've come around here actually. It's very tidy. In fact, the paintwork is extremely tidy. We had a bit of an accident on this door, but we ignore that because we want to concentrate on the good stuff. And again, it's very, very tidy. It's had its arms done and the suspension's really good. That's a very good sign of a Mark 1 when it's had that kind of work done to it. Yeah, I love this. Next door to an extremely rare ST170 Estate. I have never physically seen one of these at all. Thank you, Ian, for bringing this car today, because I've never physically seen one. And what a practical car that's also got the performance of an ST170, a bit with a slightly bit more weight. In some respects, completely pointless. But then if you wanted a high performance estate, this is one of them. And I think this was very much at a time where Volvo were doing the same things. Volvo was certainly famous for that, with like cars like the 850R, that sort of thing. And there was definitely a gap in the market to suit. In Europe, I think about 1,000 of these were registered in Europe in total. It's got a very, very rare factory spoiler here. Not every one of them was fitted with that. But this is tidy. It's tidy underneath. It's got the lovely, lovely Recaro half leather seats. These are really sumptuous. Very hard to get hold of these days, and this car was fitted with this from brand new. It is presented completely original, and it has been really looked after. Xenons, headlamp washers, because obviously you've got Xenons fitted. It is a very late registered one on an 05 plate, probably one of the last estates to be registered. And I tell you now, there were less than about 90 of these on the roads in total. I think there's about 150 of them in general, with the ones on Sawn. It is very, very nicely kept under here. Obviously a Cosworth tuned cylinder head, so we do get that extra 40 brake horsepower oomph out of a standard 2-litre Zetec lump, which is what it is underneath. But this is extremely tidy. My God, I remember how cramped it was. My friend had an ST170 years ago, and I couldn't believe how crammed in this is against that inlet manifold runner control as well. It's all very familiar but very different. Great car. And then we proceed to Stuart Taylor's Focus Millennium. Yes, now there is something to say about this car. I might have got this wrong the last time I saw this, which was at the Festival of the Unexceptional. There is a number on the plaque which is on the gear lever surround trim. That number is not the correct one for this car. Stuart doesn't know what number this is. There's no record. Basically, when these cars were brand new, you could buy certain extras, including the plaque with the number on, the trim with the number on. The owner who originally bought this car didn't buy that, so we have no idea what number this is, but it is one of only about 40 of them remaining on the road. As far as I'm concerned, Chris is a regular, and so's this on the scene. There's a couple of us that have come out the woodwork, but they are very, very rare cars, and people really don't know what they are. Stuart's had the front bumper resprayed at some point because it is a much more less oxidized bumper than you see on most of them. This has been on Hubnut's channel. There was a review done on this car a few years ago, and he didn't have a great deal to say, but still it was a decent review. And well, this is really tight. It polishes up so well. There are some marks of the past that Stuart will be annoyed that I've pointed out, but someone put something really heavy on this roof, which has just creased the roof a little bit, as you can see there. But something he's overloaded it with. But we've got the sort of crinkly leather seats as you get. The leather is a much different quality to the ones that came before. In fact, I look at these seats and I tend to think of sort of Granada Scorpios with the same sort of crinkly leather seats that you get on the bolsters. Some lovely stickers here that he's added. Obviously the wheels have been added on a bit later on. These are quite smart actually. They're not the originals. I'll tell you what though, Stuart managed to get some centre caps, and my goodness me, that is a rare thing. Lovely to see. Now this one, goodness me, I was about to say 50 Shades. It isn't. But this car has a really, really nice little story. It is one owner from new of 22 years. Thank you, Shan, for bringing this car. This is a wonderful example of a 3-door Zetec in Panther Black with the Harlequin seats, which mine would have had if it hadn't have been leather seats. And this is typical of the time for 2002. I quite like the Harlequin pattern. It's nice. You get drums at the back. This is a very, very tidy example. It's very, very straight, and it's had some work done obviously in the past to get it for MOTs. Oh, nice new exhaust fitting at the back. But 15-inch Zetec alloys, common, run-of-the-mill, no buttons on the trims, no heated seats, no ABS, no traction control, just a very basic and simple car. This car does have air conditioning though. It does have aircon, which is nice. But this paintwork actually looks pretty decent. The bonnet has faded, it just needs a bit of a polish up, but overall it was registered at Alberton Ford, which is down London way. Yes, London car. Beautiful. It's lovely to see little gems like this coming out of the woodwork. This is a lovely gear. This is another gear, but pre-facelift. The only pre-facelift apart from the Millennium in attendance today. 5-door, 2-litre petrol. Yes, very, very clean, very tidy. Not a patch of rust on this scuttle panel. I'm amazed. There's a lot of oil and anti-corrosive stuff that's been put in the corners just to keep the dreaded tin worm at bay. Got the earlier style gear alloys, which some people prefer, some people don't. We've got this lovely parchment sort of material. It's very similar actually to get on most early Mark 1s, but this velour sort of style seat material is wonderful. And obviously you've got the sort of plastic wood dash in there, and it's grey. It's a grey interior, so grey and black two-tone. But again, this is extremely straight down the arch lips. I'm noticing all sorts of differences, but what I do like about the early pre-facelifts, no trim along the bumper. How clean does that look? That for me looks much nicer than the trims fitted on facelifts. There's pros and cons. I think the facelift versions look better at the front, but in terms of the bumpers, no, you can't beat that. That's been resprayed, I suspect. It looks resprayed, but I could be wrong. Very, very well kept car. And we are going to finish the day with all these focuses with Adam Joe's wonderfully reliable car. Superb. Still ticking over, still working, and still daily driven. He has had some work done though on, I believe, the driver's side. Yeah, it's been resprayed on the driver's side because of an accident at an airport parking. Yes, we all know of incidents like that, and it was redone properly and it looks really good. I can't tell the difference. It is still dusty from the body shop, no doubt, and it definitely is. And then we have Craig Chauvin's silver. This is a wonderful car. Oh, by the way, the colour of this is ink blue, by the way, ink blue. And obviously machine silver, which is a Ford Focus silver. Craig, how are we getting on? Well, I have to report, unfortunately, Craig is suggesting that the oil is coming out of the exhaust pipe at an alarming rate. This 1.6 litre engine has done quite a few miles and he has ragged it quite a bit, and he needs a low mileage engine, put it that way. It's burning unscrupulous amounts of oil through the piston rings. It's not valve stem seals, so he's going to be taking the engine and gearbox off. This will be the last time you see this car for quite a while. It will have everything done, a low mileage engine. It's all going to be stripped and come out. He's determined to make this a really, really good one, and these additions are so rare now, it's absolutely a no-brainer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through around the site, particularly into this hangar here, because in here they've got a load of classics on display, and this is half the point in choosing a really good venue where it's interesting, is something really different. I'm really amazed at the amount of Mark 1s we've got here today. I wasn't expecting a great deal, but look at this. I mean, every single example that has turned up today is in really good condition, and I've got a fascinating story behind them, and that's what makes them interesting. They don't have to be fast, they don't have to be particularly slow, they just have to be interesting, and the owners love them, and that is what is important, and that is everything that this club is about. Anyway, I'm going to now proceed into here because the Classic Motor Hub has been a curiosity of mine for some time, and I've wanted an excuse to come down here. They are a very well catered for place. You wouldn't believe the country roads been down. Blimey, someone's coming in wheel this Jeep. Wow. Oh, goodness me. Okay, I can smell vintage and expensive cars.
Yeah, you don't tend to blow the family food budget on the carrot.
Goodness me. Wow. Just wow. I'm going to try and remain too silent, but we've got another, I think this is a D-type over here. A lot of these cars are very prestige, and this is an old hangar, because this was an RAF base during the war, and they've repurposed it beautifully. This is like an Aladdin's cave. This is your ultimate car den. This is yes. To think of what I would do with this sort of space, that doesn't bear thought. So these beautiful. Some of these are so prestige. Talbot, goodness me, that is gorgeous. Craftsmanship on this. 280 SL. This is like being at Bonham's. Anyone been to Bonham's auctions? Goodness me. I'm sorry. You know, we've gone backwards in the world of cars. How can you beat that? Sorry, we've gone backwards. There's no way forwards versus that. Oh, goodness me. Is this an XK 140? Yeah, this has been retrimmed so beautifully in red. Yes, this is an XK 140. So you have the Jaguar XK engine right in the back. A Talbot baby. Never heard of a Talbot baby. No. This is a new one, again, completely restored. Look at the grain on there. Oh, sumptuous. Aston Martin. Now we are getting more plasticky and modern. Aston Martin, I think, had a tough time in the 80s and 90s. They definitely wormed their way. Oh gosh, MGB racing car, left-hand drive. Couple of Aston Martin DB5, another DB5, excuse me. Oh, gorgeous. I'm admiring the paintwork, the bodywork. I think this is an Elvis. Yes, it is. It's an Elvis. Beautiful. DB6, where they changed the rear lights. God, they're painter clean, but they are beautiful, aren't they? Wow. I could spend all day in there. And I probably will lust to a little bit more, but anyway, I've got plenty of talking to do, and I'm going to leave this here with these wonderful cars. But what a lovely day, and what a lovely location to host a Mark 1 club meet. The final one for this year. The attendances have been brilliant, the engagement has been brilliant, the enthusiasm. We've got people who've driven, literally Craig has driven from Scotland, Nick, who will make it from, who always makes it, is driven from Cumbria today. And we've got a wide range of people who've made a long distance journey to come here and share the enthusiasm for their Mark 1s, and that's been the case 3 times this year. Next year there'll be way more meets. I think there'll be about 5 as far as I can organise. But anyway, this is where I'm going as a YouTuber, concentrating on the Mark 1 side of things, which will be definitely happening next year. There'll be a lot more stuff to come. But anyway, from me and the Mark 1 Preservation Club, goodbye for 2024. Take care. Right, everyone, thank you so much for coming today, the 3rd and final one for this year. I wish there was more, because quite frankly, the amazing cars we have here states one thing, but the amazing people in front of me states another, and the amount of love that you give to your Mark 1s is absolutely unreal, and it really shines through a little bit today. All the cars here have got their unique features, and they're all in really good condition, really are. They've all got their own wear and tear, and they've all had a life, but they've got a massive life ahead of them thanks to the lovely dedication that you've all shown to your cars. And that's what this is about, sharing the love in a nice social group that we have here. This trophy award, car of the day, me and Adam have discussed this, and it really is hard because we've got so many individual special features. I mean, Octavian, your car, you know, for a start, you know, it just looks absolutely amazing from top to bottom, and the amount of work you're putting into it is ridiculous, building on what was previously done on another YouTube channel. And there's a few other cars here that look, I mean, Ian, you know, your ST170 estate, never seen one, absolutely immaculate. What a special car that is. I could easily award it to both you two, but the car that really stands out to me and Adam is Sharon, your ZTEC 3-door, which is the carbon copy of mine apart from the gearbox, is literally, it summarises what this is about. You have had the car for 22 years from new, you bought it brand new, and you're still using it as a daily. And that for me shows the love and dedication you've shown to that car. You've done an awful lot of work to that car from what I've been told. So yeah, you keep on ploughing money into the car, and it's giving it back to you. And that is something. I've been told that you work at Aston Martin.
I used to, yeah.
You used to, right? And you still used to drive that and park up in the car park, probably next to much younger cars.
Yeah.
And yet you still retain that ownership of that car regardless. That's how special it is to you. I can see that. So that is the wonderful story today. This is yours.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Look after it. I'll give you the box for it.
Oh, thank you very
There
much.
you go. Perfect. No, you don't need to do a speech unless you want to.
Just like to thank everybody. It was really lovely. It's my first car meet. To meet everybody, see all your lovely focuses,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm really chuffed. Thank you. I wasn't
Perfect.
expecting this. Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
deserve
everyone.
it. Seriously.
Well done.
Okay.